Greetings. In this video, we're going to talk about using CSS to provide text formatting. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so at this point, we've done some of the CSS basics, kind of showing you how some of the syntax works for using an external style sheet, an internal style sheet, inline styles. We've formatted a little bit of items with CSS. And now what I want to do is start delving into formatting text. So let's go ahead and get started here. First thing I've done is I've created a file or a web page with just a few headings and a couple of paragraphs. I'm going to heavily modify this document here in just a second. I've also linked to an external style sheet that I saved as style.css. It's currently empty. We're going to start populating formatting rules in there here in a second. Alright, so with text formatting, there's all kinds of things you can do. You can set up different fonts, different colors, different sizes. You can give certain types of text decorations. In other words, say if I want something underlined, or if I want it bold, or if I want something strike through, anything like that that you would normally have for text formatting in, say, Word. You can do the same thing in CSS. So let's say, for example, I want all of my text by default to be blue. Well, the rule that I would have for that would be my selector would be body, and then I want my color to be blue. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and run my page, and you'll see that all of my text is blue. Now, another thing that I can do, excuse me, is let's say for my H1 size headings, I only want I want the color for H1 size headings to be red. Then I can say H1 color red. Okay. And again, the specificity and precedence says that at the top, all of my stuff inside the body is blue. However, I want my H1 size headings to be red. Now, let's say I want to do something like with my H2 size headings. I want to align those in the center. Okay, that's an argument or a rule called text align. And that's text dash align. And if I want to put it in the center, then I just type in center. Okay, and you'll see that my oops. There we go. That my H2 size heading is center. Now I can also text align to the right if I want it to the right, or if I want my text align just to be whatever's default, then I would just leave it. I don't need to put anything in. If I want to specify that it must be on the left, I can type in left, but it kind of defeats the purpose. Let's go ahead and text align to the right. Oops, hit the wrong button there. You'll see that my text then is aligned to the right side of the screen. I'm going to go ahead and change that back to center. Now, one of the things that you can do is with your text alignment is you can also, well, with any of them actually, you can also set up IDs and classes. So for example, if I have a class called right aligned or something like that. Okay, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up here. Then I can set the text align to right. And then in here on my page, and then I would just put whatever element I want to change. I would say that the class on that element is right aligned. Okay. And you'll see that I have a paragraph that's aligned to the right now. Alright, so anyways, that's text alignment. Now, text decorations is the next thing I want to show you. And with text decorations, with that property, you can use it to set or remove decorations from text. And for the most part, this is actually used to remove underlines from links. So, for example, I'm going to type in a link. I'm going to create a link to CNN.com. Now, if I have a link, by default, what it's going to be is, well, it'll be blue by default until you click on the link and then the text turns to purple. But links tend to have a underscore or underline underneath them. Okay, link to CNN here, for example. It has an underline, and a lot of times when you're designing a web page, you don't necessarily want links to be to have an underline underneath them. It looks kind of ugly. So what we can do is we can create like a class, or we can even say just our links in our page, we want them to be formatted in a certain way. Okay? So for example, if every link that I have on my page, I want to set the text decoration to none, and there are other steps that I have to take too here, because this isn't going to completely do the trick. But anyways, you set your text decoration to none, and the link then won't have an underline underneath it. Okay. So I set my text decoration to none for my links, and now it does not have an underline. You can also use text decoration to decorate text. In other words, let's say I want my H2 size headings to be centered aligned, and I want them to have, or text align centered, and then I want to have a decoration of underline. Okay. What you'll see is that I have, again, lines in the center, and I have an underline underneath the text. Okay. You can also do strike through, and that just puts line through the text, or line through. Sorry, that's changed. Or you can do overline, which puts a line above the text. And then you can also make it blank, but that only works in certain browsers. Doesn't appear to work in Chrome, which is not an argument anyways, or an option that you want to use usually. I'm going to set it back to underline. Now, here's something that you can do too. You can also do text transformation, which is something along the lines of making things uppercase or lowercase or to capitalize. text. Now let's say you have a paragraph, okay? And I'm going to say this paragraph is all lowercase. I am going to format to display in all uppercase. Okay? So this paragraph that I just created a paragraph, I made it all lowercase, and I'm going to transform this to have to be all uppercase. Okay? Well, here's how you do this. Well, first I'm going to put a class in here. I'm going to create a new class, and I'm going to call this class uppercase. Okay. And then in my style sheet, I'm going to create a new class here called uppercase. I think that's what I call that, all one word. Yep. And we're going to do a text transform. So it's text-transform. And you have a few different options. The main options that you would have would be uppercase, lowercase, or capitalize. And they're pretty self-explanatory. If you type in uppercase, then all the text is uppercased. Okay. If I set the text to lowercase, then it changes everything, all the text in that class, to lowercase. If I set it to capitalize, then every word is capitalized here. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and set it back to uppercase. Now, one of the next things that you can do with text transformation, or I'm sorry, text formatting, is what's called text indentation, and that's where you simply just indent the first line of a paragraph. Okay. And let's say I want any paragraph that I make, I want to have a text indent of 20 pixels. Okay. Then you'll see that every paragraph that I've made, the first line is 20 pixels long, and then the second line, third line, and so forth and so on just have a proper indentation. They're nothing special. Okay. All right. Now, there's all kinds of extra stuff that you can do with text formatting, and we're actually going to get into it later on in the course. For example, you can specify space between characters, between words, between lines. You can set the text direction of your elements. In other words, if I want to type my letters in and display them backwards, I mean, I could do that, or up or down, vertically, horizontally. I can disable text wrapping. In other words, if I want the text to display all the way across the screen where you have to scroll, I can do that. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we can do, and eventually we'll get to that, but for this week I just wanted to kind of keep the basics. Now, if you look at the tutorials for CSS text on W3 Schools, they actually give you a ton of different examples. You have several CSS text properties that are listed in there, which you should go through and play with some of the different properties and see what you can come up with as far as making your text kind of zing. So again, there's all kinds of different things you can do to format your text. Now let's go ahead in the next video and look at CSS font properties. So right now we've set our text to be formatted via CSS, and we're going to go a step further and start changing things like your fonts, your different styles, different sizes, different properties as far as making something emphatic or bold, or large text, things like that. So that'll be in the next video. And again, if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll get right back with you. See you on the next video.